Well, hello. Thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to paint this little abstract watercolor illustration, and I'm going to be using a very limited palette of just about 3 to 4 colors. So why don't you hang around, look over my shoulder as I paint. This is my Robax palette. They come in all sizes, and I'll put a link to the manufacturer below. It sits on a turntable so I can easily access all the colors. The color wells are really large. They can actually hold a whole 15mm tube of pigment. But best of all, they are easily removable. Usually, once I have chosen my colors, I take them out, keep them on my work table, and mix my colors on a ceramic palette. And once I'm finished, I just return the wells to the palette. So for our painting today, we're going to stick to the primaries. New Gamboge for the yellow, Prussian blue for my blue, and a combination of quinacridone rose and quinacridone violet for the reds. And I also added raw sienna to the mix. I want to show you these brushes that I got from Amazon. They are synthetic by Meeden, very affordable and excellent quality. That was the number 7. This is the number 3. The number 1. And I believe that this one is the 000. One of my better watercolor brushes is the Escoda line. They're fabulous, handmade in Barcelona, Spain, and I treat them like gold. I could actually paint the entire painting with this number 10. Look at the beautiful fine point. And here is a huge number 14. But at a fraction of the cost, in the Meeden set, you also get a beautiful number 14 brush, which is a great low-cost alternative. So now it's time to get down to the business and start painting. I like painting wet into wet, and I float my shading colors into the wet background, so you're going to see me do a lot of that. I start off by carefully painting with water. Hopefully you can see the drawing. I made it a little bit darker than usual so it would show up on the screen. I try to be very careful to not go over the lines with water, as I don't want the pigment to spread out too far when I come in with the color. Lordy, look at this ratty rag. I really have to throw it in the wash. All it actually is an old washcloth over a sponge that I use to remove excess water from my brush. But I know it looks disgusting. Sorry about that. I'm just adding the raw sienna to the palette, and I'm going to use it to shade the New Gamboge. So I'm starting off with the raw sienna at the inner circle. And I'm going to let the New Gamboge float and mingle with it as I paint the outer circle. I love the spontaneous and unpredictability of the wet in wet technique. For the smaller flowers, I'm going to paint first with the New Gamboge, then drop in the raw sienna with little dabs for shading. Yes, just dab, 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 don't stroke. The wet pigment will do the rest, and that's the secret of watercolors. You have to sit back, let it do its thing, don't try to control too much, and don't fuss. Get it down and leave it alone. You know what? This thing is getting in my way. Let me get it out of sight. I'm going to carry on painting all the centers of the flowers. Since these are smaller, I will just paint them in with yellow, but I'm not going to shade them. Since I have to wait for the centers to dry before painting in the petals, I'm going to mix up some green with the Prussian blue and the new gamboge. To desaturate it, I will just add a small touch of the complementary color, in this case the Quin Rose. This makes a lovely green which will harmonize with the rest of the colors since I'm mixing from the same limited colors in the palette. I started right in painting wet on dry with the first leaf, and I immediately regretted not painting a wet layer with water first. It's so much harder to get a nice smooth rendering. I'm going over with water and a touch of yellow to add interest. I'm really fussing with it to try to get a smooth gradient. I wish I wasn't so impatient, but it's not too bad. So I'm not going to make the same mistake with this second leaf. I'm painting in first with clean water, and then I'm going to float in the green with a hint of yellow. Much better. Okay, so the centers are now dry, and I'm really anxious to get started on the petals. First the water. then a layer of Quin Rose. Close to the center with the Quin Rose still wet, I'm floating in some Quin Violet for shading, and I'm just letting it mingle. I'm bringing it down around the edges of the petal, and I'm making sure that the edges are nice and neat. Second petal. Make sure this petal is not touching the first, or the paint will run from this one into the first, and that's not what I want. I like to have clean, sharp lines between the petals. The pigment is a bit darker and I like it. It's more vibrant. I have a feeling that the first petal will be too pale, but we'll see. Drop in some Quin Violet for shading. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. So the third petal, same deal. So now you get the hang of it. I will speed up the video a bit and you can sit back and watch me continue on with the petals. I'm going to jump from flower to flower so that I'm not painting next to a wet petal. This time I'm shading the bottom of the petal, as this flower is more of a bud that is just starting to open, so we're looking at it from the side view. So now I can go back to the first flower as the petals are dry. As I get down to the smaller flowers, I'll paint wet on dry, as the surface area is small enough to keep the pigment flowing. You're probably thinking that I'm painting in the water layer with dirty water. Well, you're right, sort of. I just don't go to the trouble of washing out all the pigment from my brush, since I'm going to be going back in with the same color anyway. So the first water layer is just a very pale version of the final pigment layer, if that makes sense. So just as I thought, this petal is too pale, so I'm going to give it a second layer. It's completely dry, so I can paint right over it. First with water, then the pigment wet in wet, like the first layer. That's much better, don't you think? So the petals are all done. Now for the centers of the flowers. I'm mixing Quin Rose with raw sienna to create a nice, rich, warm brown. So now I need a soft peach for the foliage. Whatever they are, they're just interesting shapes. This illustration is by no means botanically correct, but I find myself moving more and more towards abstract rather than trying to copy a photographic image. So I'm using a mixture of raw sienna with the Quin Rose and a touch of the Quin Violet. That looks good. We'll go with that. Oops! Where did all those blue flowers come from? And it looks like I also painted in a few more leaves. Well, actually, I forgot to hit record when I painted them in. It happens to the best of us, but it happens a lot to me. Blame it on the old brain. But you didn't miss much, just plain Prussian blue brush strokes for the flowers and the same mix for the leaves as before. You'll notice that I also painted in the stems with a green mixed from Prussian blue New Gamboge, but a bit more blue than the mixture that I was using for the leaves. Oh, and did you notice? The ratty rag is back. Old habits, what can I say? Anyway, let's get back to the foliage. So I'm painting in a watery layer of the peach, and I'll go back in with more pigment for shading. I just noticed that I forgot a petal on this flower, so let's put it in. Notice how you can shade by dabbing in more pigment? Just dab, 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 dab. Don't brush. So I'll carry on with the peach foliage. And now back to the leaves. I'm varying the green with more blue or more yellow just to add a bit of interest. So we still have some more peach whatchamacallits to finish off. Wow, too much water. So I'm going to blot out some of it with my brush. I have to dry my brush and then just go in and pick up the excess. So we're coming to the end, and I'm quite pleased with how it turned out. I did go on after I shut off the camera to add some little doodles, pencil texture to the large flowers, colored pencil lines to the leaves and peach foliage. So why don't you try it? Have some fun, and I'd like to thank you very much for watching. And if you would like to see some more videos in the future, please let me know by hitting the subscribe button, and that would be just so much appreciated. Thanks again.